Hi, Aries. I hope you guys are doing great today. So I'm doing things a little different here. I'm going to start by just mentioning in a very general way what I'm seeing having to do with the astrology regarding the Aries archetype. And then I'm going to break it into one reading for money or career, and then a separate reading for relationships. So let me know if you like this different format. I'll continue to do it, just trying to change things up a little bit. I know the time frame is weird that I'm covering from the 18th to 22nd. It's like, what's going on with that? But I want to sort of leave that last week of the month by itself. I'm going to address that separately as the sun moves into Scorpio. Okay. So as I pull cards, let's talk about the astrology. Venus moves into that harmonious trine with your sign. So I really like how it's going to be aspecting that first house. That tells me that people are going to be finding you very agreeable, very attractive, very people are going to want to deal with you more. If you've been feeling like things have been tense between now, things are going to be tense all month, right? If you guys watched the video last week that I did. But I think you guys are nicely positioned with the Venusian energy regarding sitting down and actually dealing with people. People are going to find you a lot more relatable and a lot more likable to actually work through things. So really nice energy for sharing ideas. With anyone that you care about or anyone that you're in some sort of situation with is really, really good. It's going to help deepen whatever connection you're in, and it's really going to help to at least incite some sort of problem solving, which I really like. And then Saturn's finally going direct. So Saturn's going direct on the 10th, and you're going to feel a lot more equipped to take charge of your life, right? Because Saturn is the ruler of the 10th house. Saturn rules work, right? So where it's placed with you in your chart, the truths are going to be coming to light that are going to help you, though, to get a very I guess some clarity and a firmer grip on reality, on the reality of circumstances that you're in, of friendships, of projects, of long-term aspirations that you're involved in. Anything that you have some sort of if you have a definitive goal regarding any of these areas, right? It's going to be a time of sort of enlightenment, epiphanies. And if it's not an epiphany within yourself, there's going to be some sort of information coming to you. You're in better shape for meeting responsibilities and manifesting your plans in this energy for sure, because Mercury and Jupiter turn direct on the 18th, which is sort of towards the end of this time period. And I like that, right? I mean, Mercury is not going to be totally out of shadow, obviously, until the beginning of really November. So it takes a couple of weeks to totally come out of shadow. Well, all of the energies. Keep in mind that, though, this is what I want to say as well. As energies, if I'm saying energies are going direct, you have to take the energy that is indicated by that planet and amp it up, because when a planet stations direct, it's very heightened. The energies are very heightened. And because we're coming out of retrograde season this month, right? A lot of energies are coming out. We have four big players coming out of retrograde this month. It's going to be very emotional and very heightened. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. I just want you to understand that the energy is going to feel very, very heightened for you. So I feel like with this Mercury and Jupiter turning direct on the 18th, it's going to contribute a lot to you feeling a lot more hopeful about your friendships, about your long-term plans, about things that you're involved in, that you're trying to move forward in. And these events can bring your social life to life, your calendar can be very, very busy, or at least you're having things extended to you at the very least. And this is going to make you feel good, because you're going to feel more connected in ways that you haven't felt in a while. A lot of you I know have been going through a lot of internal work. I mean, a lot of the cardinal energies have conversations and projects are going to finally begin to move forward. Those are all very mercurial things. Signing on the dotted line, conversations, problem solving, negotiation, all of that stuff is going to finally be moving forward, especially if you've been in a space where you've been actively trying to work something out that's been going on up to this point in the past, having to do with a relationship or project or anything that you've been wanting to put out there. This is a great month in general for tackling problems for you in areas of your relationship. I'm looking at your chart here. I have a split screen here. Yeah, I like this a lot. I like this for your relationships are going to be the energy is available to you, Aries, to tremendously improve your relationships but not but I want to be very specific here because you're going to be able to focus a lot better on long-term goals. It's not only going to be like, well, this is going on and that's going on, that's impacting the short term. It's really thinking about the larger picture, and how, and being able to effectively communicate in a way where there's greater empathy had on both sides. So I have very much a temperance energy and feeling. Teamwork is going to be really fantastic now, again, or at least the energy to have very powerful teamwork. And somebody who's very significant to you is can be an excellent sounding board for you. So maybe you're trying to figure out a business that you want to start, or some sort of idea that you want to launch, or some sort of new because Uranus is transiting your second house of the money that you make from the work that you do, and your work ethic, and having to do with your value system, and as far as money and how you show up in that area, and how you show up regarding your sense of self. So there can be something very surprising happening for you throughout this month. And there's a certain person, I feel like, that you're going to be able to share what's going on with you, and they're going to be very, very helpful for you. It's going to be very beautiful for you. You might even lay some really beautiful groundwork for promotion and networking right now, if you are trying to launch something or get something out there, and you're drawn to others by having this beautiful, almost palatable sense to other people of sincerity and of confidence as well. I mean, this is really where it's, get into that Emperor energy, Aries, that's because Emperor energy is ruled by Mars, very, you are ruled by Mars, very confident, very confident. So don't shake on that at all. And I'm speaking more specifically to those Aries who, maybe in your natal chart, you have some challenges aspecting your Aries energy. So don't doubt yourself, because something really good is rolling out in this energy, and opportunities to advance or reach your goals are going to come through other connections. So relationships, again, through this networking, maybe through reaching out to people on social media, or just people who were in your life already. But I do feel like, people in your life generally are going to be very much encouraging you, or your relationship with somebody is going to be very like a huge motivator for you as far as how you're going to be moving forward in your life. Now, the 20th brings this full moon in your sign, right? It's going to be in Aries, and feelings are going to be bubbling up to the surface, as always is the case with the full moon, but with a lot of force. And you're going to have, again, a lot of epiphanies about what you haven't even been acknowledging that you need. Like, unacknowledged needs are going to become like very clear to you, very obvious, almost like they're going to be poking at you. And all of these things are going to just be brought to the surface and pushed onto the front burner for you to look at. And it can be a really important time for checking in with those feelings and those desires that maybe you up to this point have sort of brushed off because you haven't wanted to confront a particular person, or you haven't wanted to really fully address a certain situation in your life. And you're going to know what it is. Especially if you've been in a space where you've been focusing more on addressing another person's needs in your life, right up to this point. So that's just something to just be mindful of. So that's really all I'm going to talk about, having to do with the astrology. Now I'm just going to drop the screen down. I'm going to talk about the cards, okay? And we're first going to start off with career/money. So let's get right into this. We're starting out with the Queen of Cups, Aries. So, I like the Queen of Cups because this has to do with foundation, right? It's the Gemini and Cancer energy and astrology. So it's a very intuitive energy about what's necessary to make something work for yourself, how to make something happen. This is you identifying once and for all, how much money do you need to make? What do you want to get into that's going to make you feel very connected, right? That's that cup energy, something that speaks to your heart space. So it's not only about money, but it's about feeling really good about yourself, right? Because remember, you guys are the Emperor. And when the Emperor is in a career situation or a financial situation, feeling like less than enthused, let's just say that, okay? It's very hard to not feel very frustrated, very, where am I going? Very, let's say dispassionate, okay, about what it is that you're doing. So I like that in the recent past, it seems like you guys are focusing what it is that you want to bring to the forefront for yourself. So right now you're the Eight of Pentacles. You're all about focusing on mastering something. This is a very nice energy for focusing on your responsibilities in a really diligent and hardworking way, making connections. Again, it kind of, this is definitely aligning with the astrology, and things manifesting for you and connections being made here as a result of some sort of previous effort that you've put out there. So maybe something that you've done up to this point maybe is being recognized by someone, but remember, it's innate. You're not there yet. You're in this space where you're very much focusing on something. So you might be focusing on maybe chiseling up your skill set, right? Or maybe opening yourself up to some sort of webinar, seminar, maybe somebody who just knows more than you, maybe some sort of mentor where you're opening yourself up to learning something differently, maybe even some sort of educational opportunity. But I do like this because it is about, slow and steady wins the race, and you trying very much to master something. So that's where you're at right now. But let's see what your current challenge is the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is you're tired. You really want to make something happen for yourself already. The Nine of Wands is you're in a strong space. You might be feeling very sort of defensive though, kind of like, why is it working out for this person or that person? Or if you're not in that mindset, you can be like, I've been working at this for so long. Why am I not in a better space yet? Why am I still feeling metaphorically held back, literally held back? Why are things not manifesting in the way that I really want? You want to be very careful though with this, right? Because this is your challenge, tells me that you may be in a bit of a negative mindset because of you feeling very defensive about something, which is fine. You just want to make sure that you don't stay there, because you are in a position, your energy is in a position for things to go in your favor as long as you keep balanced. You stay balanced, and again, you maintain that diligent approach. It's like, don't give up. Don't give up. I know you're tired. Some of you are sick and tired. Some of you are just physically tired. Some of you are emotionally tired, but whatever it is, it certainly has you in a bit of an emotional stalemate here with the Two of Swords, Moon and Libra energy, right? So your emotions can be really pushing you to ask those big questions. How emotionally satisfied am I? How fair is the situation that I'm in? Am I being paid what I'm worth? Do I feel like I like the version of who I am in this career, going after this, this financial situation? Some of you may be dealing with a lawsuit. Maybe it's getting ugly. Maybe you're dealing with some sort of inheritance situation. Those get ugly a lot. You know what I mean? So a lot of you may be dealing with circumstances such as this, but you're in this emotional stalemate. And as the basis of the situation, you're realizing that you really do need to make a decision about where it is that you're going. Right? You want to protect yourself, but the situation's not going away. So you're really always, with this energy, you're always better off resolving it now, standing your ground, saying what you think. But a decision is certainly made, necessary to make about your future. And this is the basis for the Hierophant energy coming up. Now, when we're talking about money here, this has to do with progress. Progression forward in your work and decisions about work and the direction that you're taking your work. And you might be dealing with a very motivated individual, somebody who's very inspiring, maybe somebody who, even if they're not in, let's say a higher position than you, because I'm really not getting like a boss kind of thing, just somebody who's maybe more learned than you in a particular area, or maybe just more experienced, somebody wanting to give you some really good advice. For some of you, for others of you, it doesn't have anything to do with that. This could have to do with just focusing on the progression forward in your work, where there are very clear expectations and very clear lines drawn about what's expected, what's not expected, right? It could certainly have to do with that. Now, in the same way, because this has to do with money, I'm also getting some of you may be considering an expansion of property. of where you're living right now, but you might be sort of two minds where you're not sure, where you feel like you definitely need to expand your property. You might be feeling a certain way. Some Aries out there may be feeling a certain way about where you live. And specifically, maybe you're questioning whether the house that you're living in or the apartment or wherever it is that you're living is meeting your overall needs in your life right now, generally, or some of you might be questioning, is it large enough? Maybe if you're thinking about expanding your family, do we have enough space? Something like that. Obviously, that would all include finances as well, right? So what is Spirit telling you to look at is this Five of Swords energy. So there's got to be this recognition. This means that there's somebody else involved here. And the Five of Swords does tell me that there's a clash of, or a clash between, I guess, between what it is that you want and where your reality is. So you might have your heart set on a particular career, project, position, something like that. But for some reason, it's not working out. Now, whether it's because of other people or other, meaning like maybe the pandemic, or maybe, maybe the pandemic has changed the way things go within the area that you're in. And you can't get in front of that though, right? You can't mitigate that. This is the kind of energy where it's like, you can stomp your feet all you want, and you could, be upset and everything like that would be normal, right? But you're better off just walking away from the situation that you felt very entrenched in, and deal with your anger and disappointment with some grace and maybe just a different perspective, because you can't fix the unfixable. So this really is about recognizing that what it is that you want is not squaring with your reality, and you're better off kind of changing focus here a little bit right now. Doesn't mean to abandon anything. It's a minor arcana, but maybe to change your focus in some sort of way. But it does seem like the energy external to you. So this could have to do with either a job offer coming in, or a business partner, or some sort of project, or some sort of opportunity, or anyone else that you're dealing with. This is a collaborative energy that indicates success. And this is external to you. This is not you. Okay. So this could also be somebody actually recognizing your talent or wanting to help you develop your talents. This is a very positive energy. This is a Mars and Capricorn energy. And I like this a lot, having to do with the energy external to you. So Three of Pentacles is positive external. It's not negative. So I'm not getting any sort of, I'm not getting anyone like coming in and wanting to sabotage anything. I'm getting that somebody wants to come together with you and either work something out or help you out in some way. But your challenge is the Knight of Swords, and this is in your internal psychology. And this is an expect the unexpected kind of thing. Now, so you might be having some sort of shocking surprises coming in, considering that you do have, for the archetype of Aries, Aries is in Taurus, right? Now, so that would be one house away from you, right? So therefore, this Uranus retrograde in Taurus is in your second house. And so that second house has to do again with money, with your income, with your work ethic, and all of that, right? Your personal possessions. So there might be some sort of shocking surprise that came up that's really, you're having a really hard time wrapping your brain around, that you're having a really hard time moving forward. And that's going to be the situation for some of you. Others of you, you might be dealing with a Knight of Swords energy that is just giving you a very hard time in the work environment. Somebody who's really determined, very driven, very forthright. They fight for what they believe in. They create a lot of drama, but then they create a lot of drama, and then things are a little bananas, and then they don't take any responsibility for it. You know what I mean? And meanwhile, you're left there trying to pick up the pieces to figure out what the hell just happened, right? But you could also be showing up as that energy as well, Aries. So we want to make very careful, because you guys are ruled by Mars, and we have the fallout of this Mars Cazimi, right? That was happening sort of in this 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th of this month. The 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th is when Mars is Cazimi, it's sitting on top of the sun. And guys, that's a lot of fire that's going on there. A lot of fire, and in your sense of, right, because you guys are ruled by Mars. So you want to be very careful that you don't end up sort of like creating any sort of drama in the workspace or fighting for fairness, because you guys are going to be very focused on what's fair, what's not fair in this energy, right? You just want to make sure that you try to temper however it is that you're approaching any sort of conversation. Now, we do have the strength reverse as the near future energy, and the strength reverse tells me that for some of you, this can indicate weakness, meaning like emotionally weak or having some sort of difficulty with making a decision or taking some kind of risk or having any kind of confrontation having to do with work or money. Some of you might be ignoring your intuition in the name of like safety or, ease. You just don't want to deal with them, right? You just don't want to deal with the nonsense or whatever it is. But you want to be careful that overthinking or analysis paralysis is really, really likely in this energy. And it's just you're better off facing whatever the situation is. Again, kind of going back to that Two of Swords energy, and just face whatever it is, try to balance it out, right? Because in the upright, the strength card in the upright is really about balance, and things being able to be, improved, but it's like somebody needs their ego stroked and you might have to go in and sort of appease the situation, but you really don't want to have to. You really don't want to have to do that. You just don't want to have to. And so we have as the final energy here, we have the Page of Pentacles. So some of you are certainly going to be getting a new job. I mean, that's just like the straight up basic interpretation of it, right? I mean, this is the personification of Earth, and Earth is a pentacle energy. So this can indicate your talent shining, positive money news coming in for sure. For a lot of you, it can show up as just basic progression forward, auspicious beginnings regarding either some sort of investment, any sort of financial or business situation for some of you. For others of you, this is a new job. For others of you, an offer might be made on a property or a project that you're trying to get out there, or maybe you're trying to get investors in. Some of you may even be meeting a new business partner, right? Because Pentacles doesn't only mean money, it's mental, physical, and emotional connection. So this is somebody who can help you out here. But the only little caveat that I want to mention here, Aries, is just pay attention to your finances right now. Just pay attention to your finances this month. Not a good month too. Now, obviously, if you've already started some sort of investment rollout or some sort of situation before Mercury went retrograde or prior to this heavy retrograde season, that would not really count here. That wouldn't count. But as far as something new, kind of landing on your feet and you wanting to immediately jump on it, why don't you just wait until the end of October, beginning of November, right? Until we have the full retrograde post shadow straightening up, because I feel like it's going to end up being a very good thing for you. Yeah, look at this, beautiful, clarifying that. We have the Nine of Cups, which is a beautiful energy of happiness, wishes manifesting, really nice energy. And whatever it is, you're going to just feel more connected to your own heart. But remember, cups is whatever speaks to your heart. So if it's something that you've been wanting for a while, it might not be exactly how you thought it was going to be, but I feel like it's going to end up being better than you thought it was going to be. So that's what we have for your career / money, honey. Why don't we move on to, relationship. What do I want to use? First of all, I definitely want to use some oracles. Okay. I'm going to use my wild unknown. Our Aries friends in relationships. Okay, the oracle's on a pop. The oracle's on a pop. All right, so we have that Venus and Sagittarius energy in your 9th house. But I just really like Venus in the 9th house having to do with any sort of negotiation, anything with higher education, anything with your in-laws, anything like that. I just think is really positive. But I do like that it is trining your 1st house of self. We have No Place Like Home is the first oracle up. So lovely for those of you who are maybe working on situations within a marriage, somebody that you're living with somebody that you just feel at home with. Trust the divine plan. So things might not seem as, I'm getting this feeling, Aries, like things are so much better than you even realize right now, having to do with relationship, if that makes sense. All right. So first we're going to pull for those in relationship, and then I'll pull some cards for those of you in separation. Okay. Timestamp below. I should have said that like a long time ago in the video, but sometimes I forget. All right, let's see what's happening. Let's see what's happening. Okay. We have a lot of reversals here. That's fine. I mean, and I just do general shuffles, but reversals aren't so bad all the time. It just tells me that something's been going on. Something's been running a little bit of amok. Oh, but I do like that we have the Five of Swords in reverse here. So Five of Swords is much in the reverse. It's much better. This is about a fair, I would say a fair fight. Essentially, I guess so. But this does indicate like peace after trouble, something coming to light, some sort of realizations being made about the relationship, which is actually quite nice. And then we have the Eight of Wands in the reverse. So the Eight of Wands in the reverse is really about frustration, right? And feeling these problems ahead, feeling these sense of delay, really wanting things to move forward in a better way, in a different way. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to do with, it could just have to do with something that you and your partner are dealing with. Maybe you're waiting on that house, or you're waiting for something to come in, or you're waiting for some sort of delay to finally release itself. And what's challenging you in this energy is the Six of Wands energy. Yeah. So the Six of Wands really is about Jupiter and Leo energy. So this is about some sort of conversation maybe coming in, good news maybe that you've been waiting on, having to do with either your relationship, your love relationship, or if you guys are together and maybe you're waiting for news having to do with the property. But this could indicate also like feelings being shared and well received and really positive communication. But this is showing up as your challenge right now. So there might be some challenges having to do with your communication. I mean, after all, Mercury is retrograde right now, right? And Mercury is retrograde in your seventh house of marriage, of interpersonal relationships as well. So that wouldn't surprise me, because that's right where Mercury is retrograding. So it's almost like you guys had these epiphanies and these realizations in the relationship, but now there are these delays. And the problem is in positive communication moving forward. So we have the Sun of Swords as the basis of the situation. Again, this is in reverse. So when we're talking about this energy, there might be some sort of element of manipulation. There could certainly be that. Some of you might be having some sort of challenges having to do with children, either conceiving or a child that you guys have together, or one of your children. If you don't share children, it could have to do with that. Some of you as a couple might be dealing with some sort of like bad news that just came in, having to do with something that's impacting the relationship. That's how it can manifest for some of you. For others of you, you may be dealing with a partner who's very, very immature and very manipulative, because remember, swords are air, they're truth, it's communication, right? So there could be some challenge there. Now we have the Nine of Wands in the reverse as the current situation, right? And the current situation is telling me though that you are trying very much to have faith in something. You are trying very hard to feel very connected. You are, but there's still this element of defensiveness that's still happening. And some of you might even be feeling like maybe low-key paranoid, and that's such a negative connotation, but feeling like, let me rephrase that, where your intuition is certainly telling you that something more is going on in a situation than you feel like is being availed to you. How's that? That sounds better than being paranoid, because I feel like paranoid, there's an element when we say paranoid, it's like you feel like somebody's after you or somebody, right? But I feel like it's manifesting more as like you intuitively feeling like there's more going on than is being availed to you right now. So we have this is what spirit is advising you to look at. We have the Father of Cups in the reverse. So this is somebody who is emotionally manipulative, somebody who is This could even indicate an abusive person, somebody who's just somehow abusive. Maybe they gaslight, maybe they deflect. It doesn't necessarily have to indicate violence, physical, but it could just be somebody who maybe they play mental games with you, something like that. And you really need to look at that. Now, you also need to look at if you happen to do that as well, where maybe you want your own way. And this is the month of like doing like low-key strategizing to try to get our way. And we're all going through it, which is the funniest thing, because if we're all doing it, we're all doing it to each other. So, if you think about it like that, but it does seem like that's something that needs to be looked at here. Now, the energy that's external to you, we have the Four of Wands in the reverse. So the Four of Wands in the reverse, in the upright, this is really about, homecoming and all of this. But this indicates to me, and because it's external to you, this is an energy that maybe where maybe somebody moved out, or there is this moving out discussion. This doesn't, and if it's not having anything to do with that, somebody is starting arguments with you, or there are arguments about where you guys are living, or arguments about moving in together, or arguments about how your life is rolling out in that way. You know what I'm saying? Like how things, like if you guys are living together, what's the responsibility load looking like? Who's paying for what? How is all that rolling out, right? And so it doesn't seem like there's very much of a meeting of the minds when it comes to that having to do with another person. Now, in your internal psychology, we have the Seven of Cups in the reverse, which is actually more positive, I think, in the upright, because your challenge though here is the fact that you have clarity, right? You're experiencing this very definitive restored sense about what is necessary to make this relationship work. Like any illusion that you had at any point in time is not going to be an illusion anymore. You're going to be able to feel, or at least sense, a greater clarity, and a lot of you may have felt very sort of confused, right, in your internal world, I'm going to say, right, in your under your hood, in your subconscious mind and your emotions, because you have had that Neptune and Pisces in your 12th house, right? And right now it's squaring Venus, so Venus is pushing you in that 9th house, pushing you to really look at and assess your belief system, and as far as how are your needs being met, how are your needs being recognized. And this is a very protective month for everyone, right? But you're going to feel very, very clear, which I actually think is a good thing. Now we have the Son of Wands, or the Page of Wands, in the reverse. And the Page of Wands in the reverse, again, this can indicate maybe something going on with your kids, though. If you have kids, maybe they're struggling in school or something like this. But this could also, if it has nothing to do with children, this could indicate somebody handling something in a very immature way. So Aries, if it's not you, it could be the energy that you're dealing with, and that needs to be recognized here, right? It needs to be recognized. And it's like this very strong desire to move forward, to want to do what one wants to do. I want my way. I want to do this. I want to do this. And recognizing like, okay, not everybody has their big boy and their big girl pants on here. So there needs to be some sort of like reevaluation of something. It does seem like. Now, as the final energy here, we have breakup, separation, we have disinterest, we have arguments. It doesn't mean that you're breaking up forever. It's a minor arcana, but there are certainly arguments that are happening here for sure. There's no question. So let's see if we can get some clarifiers for this going on. Okay. Just going to do some random pulls. Okay. Oh, we got the World. Lesson learned. We got the Emperor. We got you. Two of Swords. Again, here. Right. Okay. Nine of Cups is the final card. So there's some sort of lesson learned about what it is that you really want, right? I mean, we have the World. Lesson learned, that's Saturn being clarified by the Emperor, right? That's you. So you're very focused on it. If we're going to work this out, we need to do things differently. Others of you are going to be like, I really want to go and be with somebody who is far more in alignment with what it is that I want, need, and desire. Because there is this idea of shared values here, but you're definitely at cross purposes with yourself for sure, right? It is this kind of, should I do this? Should I do that? I'm not sure. I need to clarify what it is that I want to do. We have the Six of Cups is about, I feel like if there are arguments going on for some, I'm almost feeling like this is an separation, which I'm going to get to next, but the Six of Cups has to do with reconciliation. Now, for those of you who are still together and nobody's breaking up and nobody's going anywhere, the Six of Cups could be this recognition that up to this point, so first of all, you may be feeling very nostalgic and really very strongly desiring harmony, but you want to find the right balance in the relationship, especially if you feel like you haven't been treated very fairly, or if you'll recognize maybe you weren't very fair to somebody else. This is an energy of very strongly desiring, wanting to remedy something, but I see you being very confused about it, right? What you do know is that you want to move away from any sort of toxicity, because this is about moving away from what hasn't been working, and and things being very expedited, though being very expedited. So we always want to look at the energy that is surrounding the Chariot energy to see if you alleviate, if you're moving away from or moving toward, right? So you're moving away from toxicity, anything that hasn't been really kind of working out. And then we have the beautiful Father of Swords, the King of Swords energy. So this is very much focusing on your mind instead of your heart to take charge of your circumstances, really looking at the facts of a situation, and that ends up bringing you happiness. So really focusing on the facts of a situation and what's really going on. Beautiful. And then we have the Sun. We love the Sun energy, particularly when it comes to relationships, because this is about just being able to grow a really beautiful connection or deepen a beautiful connection. Some of you might be going on vacation, which would be really cool. But recognizing that, I feel like for those of you who are in a weird space, it does seem like those of you who are like nobody's going anywhere, there's this recognition like, hey, this person really is my home. And I might not be feeling very good about things right now, but I really do need to trust in the divine. So that is what I see for you guys right there. Some challenges at the moment, but it does seem like things take a bit of a better turn as we progress along in this month. Okay, so let's pull a couple of cards for those of you who are in separation. You brought out the best in me. I came alive in your presence. I miss looking into your eyes and into your soul. I feel like I abandoned you and myself when we broke up. I want to reconcile. Okay. Yeah. I mean, and I feel like a lot of you may be having this experience here, right? Because that Mercury retrograde in your 7th house, people coming back, that you maybe have been in separation. Let me put clarifiers for that. Okay. Yeah, so I feel like there was this holding back, Aries, of somebody who you're dealing with somebody. There was this holding back of either what was going on with money, or what was going on as far as willingness to change, or who was willing to put what into the relationship, because we have the King of Cups being clarified by the King of Pentacles. So we have the King of Cups in reverse. Again, this could be somebody that at least feels like there's some sort of manipulation, emotional abuse, something like that, because there's this idea of really not feeling comfortable. There's always an element of greed with the King of Pentacles, right? It's like they say that they're there and they are there and they're not a bad person, but they're funny with their money, or they're funny with what they're willing to do, or how they're willing to structure a particular situation within the relationship for everybody to feel really good, and happy. And that's clarifying. You brought out the best in me. I came alive in your presence. So it does seem like somebody, wants kind of the best of both worlds. That's going to need to be addressed. I miss looking into your eyes and into your soul. And that's being clarified by the King of Wands here. And the King of Wands is this energy of very much wanting to express. They really want to express themselves, but there's this idea of perfectionism that they cannot allow to get in the way. Either that they have to be perfect, where they feel like they're not good enough, or they don't have enough, even if they, and again, there might be this overcompensation where if they're funny with their money, maybe they have a fear of lack. Or if they're funny about changing, maybe they have this fear of of being ruled, of being owned. If there's this unbelievable sense of vulnerability, there might be some abandonment issues going on here, right? Whatever it is. But there is this strong desire to express themselves, and they definitely do have a strong desire to still be in the relationship. With the Nine of Wands energy is this an energy of strength, right? Really an energy of strength, being in a good position, feeling very defensive though right now. Still, like, they're very defensive. You have to just know, like, whoever we're talking about here, there's an element of defensiveness. Now here we go. I feel like I abandoned you and myself when we broke up. I want to reconcile. That's being clarified by the Eight of Pentacles and the Three of Cups. The Eight of Pentacles is very much them trying to figure things out, trying to master themselves, trying to figure out what's really necessary in order to make this relationship work. And we have that being clarified by the Three of Cups, which is very, very much like an abundant energy, but an energy of support nonetheless. And 3 is the number of creation as well as healing. So there is this desire to want to work at things differently, I feel like, than you guys were working at them before. But there is this element of willingness here. So it's very interesting, at least from their perspective, in a subjective way. So let's just pull a couple of Island Time Wellness, Heart with the Key. Yeah, so I feel like you guys, for in one area anyway or another, you guys are mirroring each other's wounds, and the relationship is reflecting the wounds that you guys have experienced in relationship. But we have this also working with love, unconditional love, self-love, affection, passion, and then opening your heart and getting together. So it does seem like there is going to be some sort of revisit. I mean, especially with the, just having the Sun, Mars, Mercury retrograde, all in that 7th house of marriage, of interpersonal relationships, of soul connections. It does seem like there is going to be some sort of revisit going on here for you. So, I mean, that's what I'm seeing for you, my Aries friends. Let me say goodbye. Okay. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope this was helpful for you in some way, and I hope you guys have a beautiful week. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.